Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Akropolis by Gigamic and Hachette Games.
Akropolis is a game in which you are going to be taking tiles from a market, drafting them, and placing them into your city. You are building a city in this game, stacking tiles next to each other or on top of one another, trying to complete different scoring objectives. And this is all about adjacency, where tiles are connected to other tiles. There's quite a bit to think about in where you're placing these tiles. Let me show you how it works down below, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer.
All right, here's Akropolis on the table from Gigamic Games and Hachette Games. Now, this is a tile placement game in which you are building an ancient city, and the tiles are going to have different placement rules in order for you to score points. Let me show you how this game is going to work. Now, on this, you are going to have several stacks of tiles that you will be drafting from. Now, the number of tiles in each stack is going to change depending on how many players there are in the game, but there will always be 11 stacks, as you see right here. And as you can see, I am playing with 2 players. The type of tiles that you use will show you which ones to use based on the number of players in the game. So I only have the 2-player tiles in the game, and you're going to have a number of tiles left over to form your market here. Now, what's a little bit odd about this is that normally you would think that the tile on the left might be the cheapest tile, but that is not the case in this game. It's going to be whichever tile is furthest to the right is going to be free, and then each tile over is going to cost you a stone. Now, real quick, I wanted to point out here my Token Sesame token holder here. If you'd like more information on Token Sesame and a discount code to get your own Token Sesame token holder, check out the link in the description down below. Now, these are stones, and it's going to act as a currency in the game. They are just simple little cubes that you are going to be spending in order to get these tiles. And also, all players are going to have their own starting tile that has a plaza for your homes, your blue homes here. We'll get back to what plazas are here in just a second, but this is just going to go face up in front of you, somewhere in front of you, and you will have a first player token. This is going to rotate throughout the course of the game, but this person who has this is going to get to draft first from the market once it refills, or at the beginning of the game, as it is right here, right now. Now, on your turn, it's very simple. As I've already said, this tile right here is going to be free for you to draft. If you want to select anyone over, you are going to have to pay 1 cube to the supply for each tile you pass over. So if I wanted to take this tile right here, I'd have to spend 1 cube for having passed over this one. But if I wanted to take this tile right here, I'd have to spend 3. Now, after I go and I take this tile, now this tile becomes free for the next player. And if they wanted this tile here, they would only have to pay 2. That's kind of how that works. Now, whichever tile I take, say I end up taking this one, I'm going to place it somewhere in my city. The rule is it just has to be adjacent to another tile that I've already placed in my city. I can't just have it left out here floating around. I could put it like this, for instance. I could put it like that, for instance. You get the idea. But wherever I've placed it, it's going to stay there. Now, it would be the next player's turn, and again, they could have this one for free, but let's say they end up paying a stone and they take that one. Now, it comes back to me, and because, again, this is a 2-player game, and I would get to choose between what is left over, and then if I take this one here, I would place that one, and then the final tile remaining will stay out there. It will go as far to the right as it can go, and we'll take one of these stacks, and we will refill the market. Flipping these tiles over, and the first player token would rotate to the next player, and then they would get first pick out of what's here in the market. So there's always going to be 1 tile left over, and at the end of the game, once you've worked through all of the 11 stacks of tiles, there will again be 1 tile left over, and that tile just will not be used by any player, and then you will go into final scoring. Now, in order for me to explain final scoring, I'm going to go ahead and play a full game solo mode. That's right, there is official solo rules for this game that you can print off of BGG. The box itself only says for 2 to 4 players, but there are official solo rules. So I'm going to go ahead and play that and then show you how final scoring works. All right, so here we go. Here is what my city looks like at the end of a game. As you can see, the shape of my city is not any specific shape. It can grow out in different areas. You can have gaps in it. It does not have to look any particular way. You can build it however you want. But what you are trying to do is you're trying to achieve certain placements in order to get the scoring objective for each different type of tile. You can see that there are 5 different colors, well 6 if you include the queries, but these 5 are going to be what score you points. So let me explain what each of them do. The blue ones, you practically just want to get your blue ones to be in one group. You can see here that I have a group of blues. Any blues that are not in that group are not going to score you any points, so you want to try to get your blues all together. Your yellows, you want to try and have them be separate from other yellows. So you want the yellows to do the exact opposite of the blues. Your reds, you want to have on the edge, touching the outside of your city. And your purples, you want your purples to be completely surrounded, as are these purples right here. And then lastly, your greens, they will score you points no matter where they are in your city. They're very valuable to have. Now, the other type of tile are going to be your queries, and your queries are just going to give you the stones. Now, those are the ones that don't have a color on them, and anytime you place a tile on top of a query, so if I were to place a tile right here, let's say, I would earn 1 stone for every query that I cover up. So in this case, that would only be 1. That would not be a very good move to do. Now, you have your districts, and that's what these colors are over here, and then you have your plazas. Now, your plazas are going to have the same colors. They're just going to look a little bit different. The biggest way you can tell the difference is that your plazas are going to have stars on them. And so you can see these are plazas right here. Now, think of your plazas as your multipliers. So in order for me to gain any points off of this blue district of houses right here, I need to have plazas, blue plazas, to multiply my points by. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blue stars in my city. It doesn't matter where the plazas are. I will get the points from those, or I'll get the stars anyhow. Now I'm going to take that, that's 4, and I'm going to multiply it by how big of my district, the blue district is. So I would get 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these 2 are connected, but they are on the second level, so they're each going to count as 2. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is worth 8, and I multiply that by 4, and that determines how many points that I get for the blue district. You can see there, that's 32. And I would repeat the same process for my yellows. Now remember, my yellows need to be separate, so here are my yellows, and I have 2 stars. So 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because again, these 2 are on the second level. If they were on the third level, I would get 3 points for it. If they were on the fourth, I would get 4 points, so on and so forth. And 2 times 6 is 12. Now my reds, my can't remember what these are called. They just need to be on the outside here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to multiply that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so that would be worth 32 points. And again, I would continue through this, getting points as I go along. And whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. You can see here, me against the solo player, I was victorious. I defeated him. If we were tied, it would go to the tiebreaker of cubes. Whoever has the leftover stones available, they are going to be the winner. And that is how you play Akropolis. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one.
And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Akropolis from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective while you check out some gameplay footage. Seeing this out on the table, what were your first impressions?
I like tiling games.
Yep.
So I was excited to play it.
Okay, yep. That is one of our more favorite mechanics in board gaming. Why is that? What is it about that really appeals to you?
I think it's visual. I think I like putting things together. And I've said this before. I feel like tile laying is one of the first games we play as kids is puzzles.
Yep.
And I feel like we all know how to do that, and it's just different ways of how to put this puzzle together, and I really enjoy it. It's satisfying.
And this more especially than any other tile laying game, because you do have adjacency playing such a factor in this, in that you want your blues to touch all together, you want your yellows not to touch, you want your reds to be on the outside. Yeah, there's a lot of things about the pieces and where they fit in this, like a puzzle would be. And then on top of that, you've got the ability to stack pieces on top of other pieces. And that's something that you want to do sometimes. And then there's times where it doesn't really work for you to do that. And it might be a bad idea. For you, wrapping your head around the strategy and drafting and placing those tiles, what was it like for you as a non-gamer?
It wasn't hard. I do think I want to continue to play it more times, because I definitely think it's a game that you would get better with.
Yeah.
With time.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
But it was not hard to understand at all.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a fairly rules light game, and it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. But as Sam says, you understand the game and you get more skilled at the game as you play it. And as is the case with some tile laying games where you don't have a confined playing space like King Domino, it's just an open sprawling space that you can easily place the tiles in such a manner that really doesn't do you any favors and kind of ruins your whole progress. And as you play the game more, you understand, I really should not have done that.
And I think it's definitely worth noting which ones will get you more points, and that's dependent on certain tiles that you draft, because I really wanted to focus on every single color in all of their rules, and it's not a bad way to play, but I might try a different strategy next time and kind of see how that works.
Yeah. I think the drafting with this game works really well too, because it's not just I get free pick over everything that's in the market, like maybe you would in a King Domino. I'm going to keep coming back to that game. You have to have stones to be able to pay for those things. And how do I get stones? Well, I have to place my tiles strategically so that when I stack one on top of the other, it's giving me a lot of stones to work with. I like that aspect of it, because I'm rewarded for playing smartly, and that gives me freedom to be able to choose more in the market. I like that aspect of this one. For you as a non-gamer, was that something that you found worked for you, or was it too difficult, too much work to make it work for you?
It wasn't too much work, but I was so focused on the colors that I didn't want to cover any of those up, because then that would mess up my points. And so it was difficult. Again, I think I will get better at it. I definitely think this is a game we're going to play more of. And so I have the opportunity to change my strategy.
Sure. Well, let's get to pros and cons on this particular game, Akropolis. What were the things that stood out to you in a positive light?
I really liked the tiles, how they fit together, the drafting aspect of it, how each one had a different rule. That sounds like it would be complicated, but it really wasn't. I understood it really quickly. So I just think it's a good, well thought out game.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the fact that the rules for the different tiles being so straightforward, it would look on the surface after you've read through that, man, this seems so simple. How can it be a good game? But the fact that it is so simple and the tiles are shaped the way they are, after you've placed some out there, they can't just fit anywhere and everywhere. You'd have to be smart about where you're placing these tiles. Otherwise, you're going to, handicap yourself and block some spaces off. And so the fact that they are so simple really does work, and it makes it something that I think most people can, after they've read it one or two times and they have that player aid there that they can kind of look at, they're just going to get it and go. And you're not going to have to come back to, what does this tile do again? What are the purple ones are? What are they about again? You can just play easily and not have very many breaks in the game, I think. So that's a good thing. What maybe doesn't work so well for you?
The only con that I would have for this game is I wish that the tiles with the stars on it counted as that color as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because as in King Domino, the what's on those.
The crowns.
The crowns are still one in the same with the color. It still counts as your color, and that's how I played this game. And then as we were counting, I was realizing that I did not get as many points as I thought because it counts for the stars, but it doesn't count as one of your...
Yeah.
And so it also means you don't have to follow the rule for it.
Yeah.
So
placing the plazas are what they're called, the ones with the stars.
I think they either
doesn't
need to
really
look
matter.
different, maybe just a star on them.
Yes.
Without that background, like the color star.
Yeah.
So that helps you to remember it better, or let them be one and the same.
Now, I've played this game a few times. I've played it solo. I've played it multiplayer. And just about every time that I've played, I have made the mistake in the drafting process of not making the distinction between the two. That this is a plaza and that this is just a regular tile of the same color. And I know that's just me being dumb and playing too quickly and not looking close enough.
But it does it. Your brain is not making that connection.
They do look very similar, and it can be easy after you've even drafted it and played it into your city to make the mistake of thinking, well, this is just like all the other homes or parks or whatever the color may be. And it's not that at all. It's just a plaza that
I
shares the
think
same
it was like
color.
on the third round before I was like, do I have any stars? Oh, yeah, I've already played them. And I didn't even...
Yeah.
I was just playing the color.
So if it would have been something to stand out a little bit more, a visual thing about the game, I think that would have been less of an issue.
Yeah.
But it is a thing that has popped up several times. So I think it is an issue. Does it break the game? No. But it is an issue.
Yeah.
So. All right, scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. Where does Akropolis fall for you?
I haven't played it a ton yet. I do see us playing it more.
Okay.
I really liked it. I am going to give it pretty high. I'd give it an 8.0.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you, this game is really hot right now. It's been on BGG's hot top 50 list for quite some time, and I can understand why now that having played it. This is a very solid game. It offers a lot in terms of strategy and thinking about where do I want to place this tile, and stacking on the tiles gives you extra points. And if you can try to work it out to get a third or maybe even a fourth level, if you're really good at this game, I think getting a fourth level is extremely difficult.
I barely got the second level.
Right, exactly. I enjoy that aspect of this game, and it's kind of it's a little bit like I'm playing it against myself in some ways, because I want to challenge myself to get that third level, to get that fourth level, but at the same time I'm also playing against her, and I'm playing against him, and I'm playing against that person.
It's definitely not a game like I can't sit there and watch what Lance is doing. I'm very focused on mine. So you are kind of surprised by the score at the end.
And I like that aspect of it too, because you don't know who's going to win until
versus
it's
with
over.
King Domino, which I know we keep comparing it to that, but visually it's a lot easier to tell how he's doing and I'm doing, versus in this game you really don't. You can't tell because there's a lot more going on.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought back King Domino again. I'll get to my score, I promise. King Domino, for me, is like the epic tile, or I shouldn't say epic, but the all-time tile laying game that is accessible to most any person out there. It could be sold in a big box, big store, Target, Walmart, whatever, and almost anybody's going to enjoy that game. I think Akropolis can be very much the same, but it adds an extra little bit to it that makes it, in my opinion, a little bit more, a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I love King Domino. King Domino has been one of my favorite games over the last 5-6 years, however long it's been out. So because of that, I'm going to give Akropolis a really high score. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I really enjoy this game. And that's not just me being a tile laying lover. I really enjoy those kind of games. This game is solid. This game is really good.
Yeah.
There's not very many cons with it at all. And so I can see this game being one that sticks around in a top 10 video at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's a really solid game. But you're going to have to try it for yourself to see what you think about it. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on Akropolis.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.